Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages.
Oh, the hell with it. Let's just start the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Vern and Bob's Star Trek Show. My name is Vernon.
And I'm Bob.
And we are here to talk to you about all things Star Trek TV, movies, and so much more. But first, a quick announcement. Bob.
Oh, okay. So, real quickly, we have gone through a lot of changes since we've done our last episode. And with the whole TikTok thing going on, we decided that we were going to incorporate everything into one type of network. So, the Vern and Bob Star Trek Show is not going to be really changing in any way, except the show is now a part of the Star Trek Network. That's what the channel is called now. Amazingly, in the last week, we went from 61 subscribers. We are now, as of this recording, 975 subscribers. So,
and I hope it's not clickbait from calling it the Star Trek Network and we're getting all these people thinking that.
Well,
no, that's not us. But
no, that's not us. It's but I will say we have a lot of other content in the works that are going to come up. So there's going to be some longer form videos of original content. There's going to be a lot of content for the short. So just keep in here in the next couple weeks. You'll start seeing sporadically some new stuff, and then it'll get more and more consistent. Once we figure out a schedule. So just if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And
join us on this holodeck ride that we're on right now. Things are ever changing and you can't ever tell what's real and what's not.
That's true. And speaking of the holodeck.
Yes, we are talking about Ship in a Bottle from Star Trek The Next Generation today. It is going to be the 138th episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, and that's going to be the 12th episode of Season 6. Bob, this is a great episode.
Oh, it's a very good episode. We get to see the only Professor Moriarty, who we haven't seen since Seasons 2 Elementary Dear Data.
And I love how they keep that consistent with the time in the show and the time of real life. Because Barclay tells Moriarty he's been in there for 4 years, or somebody tells him he's been in there for 4 years.
I think he says it. I think he said, oh, no. Barclay says he's been in protective whatever for 4 years, and he can tell that he's been in there for that long.
Yeah. To kind of give you an idea what's going on, the star date is 46424.1. The Enterprise has entered the Detrion system to witness two planets colliding to hopefully become a star. Data and Geordi are on the holodeck to kick off the episode. The holodeck has some glitches. They have Barclay take a look at it, and boom, there's Professor Moriarty. So the episode proceeds as Moriarty is wanting his freedom. Picard says, we've been working on it. Moriarty walks off the holodeck, and then they're trying to figure out the whole episode how this is possible. Moriarty takes control of the Enterprise and wants his Countess to be released from the holodeck, and it turns out Moriarty is taking control of the Enterprise, forces Picard and everybody to do his bidding to get her off. Picard does a ruse after Data figures out that they're still on the holodeck due to a glitched Geordi, which we'll talk about all of our favorite moments here in just a moment. Glitched out Geordi, the transporter pad, that was all glitched out. We finally do a reverse ruse where Picard tricks Moriarty into thinking that he's free. So he did a holodeck inside of a holodeck. They put him in a little ship in a bottle, and Moriarty lives off the rest of his days in this computer program until Star Trek Picard. That's a nutshell.
I like that analogy that you did at the end there. Like when they put him in that external hard drive and you refer to it as ship in a bottle. I said, well, that's probably what they meant. Ship in a bottle.
Yes.
I've seen this episode 90 times and I never caught that. Yeah.
That's how I always took it. But that's why this is a Star Trek show, Vern and Bob. We're here to talk about how we perceive things, and our opinions may not always be right, but they're fun. So, Bob, Off the top, great to see Moriarty back.
Yes. I mean, I always enjoyed it's Daniel Davis that plays Moriarty. He's just a fantastic actor. One of my favorite guest stars, I want to say, of the whole franchise. I don't like how they did him in Star Trek Picard, where he's got that short moment where they used him and it was just nonsense. I thought that was stupid.
It was clickbait because
that's yeah.
The way they played him up in the trailers of the season, you thought that he was going to be the big bad of it all.
Yeah, what I got out of that trailer was one of the episodes was going to revolve around Moriarty somehow. By that point, they already knew about the Doctor on Voyager, so I would have assumed from the trailer that he had gotten like one of those mobile emitters, and he was going to be the big bad for one of the episodes. But no, we get him rambling for about 30 seconds, and they just walk past him. So
it really was a sad bit.
This one was a very good episode. I love holodeck episodes, but there's always issues around holodeck episodes that I can't gloss over, and we'll talk about them here in a little bit.
Well, once you have specifics in like show running, show writing, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I've gathered so far. This is our second holodeck surrounded episode, and it is a problem. The holodeck never has good things come out of it.
If the holodeck's involved, the holodeck is going to get fucked up some way, and it's going to cause them to get trapped on the holodeck. So,
and then bring Mr. Holodeck himself, Mr. Dwight Schultz, which I love. Reginald Barkley. Mr. Broccoli.
Yes,
can't ever get enough of him. Loved him in Next Generation. Loved him in Voyager.
Loved him in the A-Team. Not Barkley, but
yeah, just a fun character all around. And of course, if the holodeck's going to be involved in this season, he's got to be involved. So
I liked later they had the main cast, but they also had their go-to guest stars. At least season 5, 6, and 7, you were going to get either Ro Laren, you were going to get Barkley. Or you were going to get Guinan. I mean, they had their set guest stars who were going to come in, this real revolving door of let's just have a different person. Let's just have a consistent 4 or 5 episodes a season we'll do with these guys. And that way people can know who they are. We don't have to have a backstory for bringing in all these people.
And then past, Next Generation, you've got your returning stars for other shows. Barkley was constant reoccurring on Voyager. Troy was reoccurring on Voyager.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Because when Barkley, God, I'm pulling up a card here, Mr. Broccoli.
Yeah.
Do we want to go good or bad first? Let's finish with good. Let's start with bad.
Let's start with the bad. And
leave with a clean taste in our mouth.
I wouldn't say there's anything really terrible. There's some holodeck issues that it's always going to come up in a holodeck episode. So let's do the bad first, and then we'll finish it off on a high note with the good.
So a couple of inconsistencies for me. Anybody that's watched our show knows that I'm the nitpick kind of guy.
And the one you got, I know, is nitpick.
Yeah. And I guess it's because I was watching it on a 75-inch TV, and the show was not designed to be watched in HD on a 75-inch TV.
It's really
let me see. I sent it to you while I was watching it. The transporter experiments that they were doing for the chair to get the chair off the holodeck. Data states that it was transport log 759 that they were looking at. However, on the screen, it says transport log 721.
Right. Yeah.
Come on, guys. It's right there. Like on the screen. That's not a computer generated image. That's a layover.
I feel like that is a flop in post production because it was said during the episode, and I just think no one caught that.
Some bad acting. I wouldn't say bad acting. Maybe they meant to do it this way. But we had kind of talked before about Geordie's computer Geordie.
Yeah. Where they basically treat him like a child and tell him to leave, so they can, so the adults can continue talking.
He looks and walks out the room like a sad puppy.
Did
Like he
you
doesn't
did
know
you
where he's going.
did you see as he makes the turn out, he kind of like puts
Yeah,
his
he
head
just
down like
deactivates. He's like,
I'm sad.
It's like, oh, poor Jordy, poor
They
fake
kicked
Jordy.
me out, and because he stood there as they were talking about this, like all confused. He does his Geordie thing where he goes like this.
Yeah.
And it's just like finally Picard's like, can you excuse us, Mr. LaForge?
Holodeck women? No. Holodeck women in the real life?
No. That part, yes, acting wise, but the vast majority of the show, very well acted.
Yeah.
Especially by the guest stars. You know, I don't know the lady Regina or whatever her real name is. She was very good in it too.
Very smart, very witty.
Yeah, very well written.
Countess Bartholomew, played by
The
Stephanie
lady
Beecham.
Stephanie Beecham. Name sounds familiar. She's probably done other Star Trek.
She hasn't. I
No?
thought she looked very familiar, and I thought she'd done.
Her
At first,
voice.
she kind of reminded me of the woman from the episode where they beam up the farm people. And
Oh yeah,
the woman with the feet and Riker. She
yes,
reminded me of her quite a
Okay.
bit, but it's not her.
I just assumed because she looked familiar and the voice was very familiar. So I was like,
no
well,
other Star
maybe-
Trek other than this episode that I could find.
Well, getting back to the holodeck, what doesn't make sense to me, and I've had this up on TikTok, like these holodeck questions, and I've gotten a lot of different comments. And if you guys have a great explanation for this, leave a comment below and let us know. But it's where there's 3 actual people on this holodeck, right? And somehow they're all on different levels at one point. One's on the bridge. You got Barclay in the transporter room and like Data in engineering, but they're still in the confines of the holodeck.
I every time I watch Encounter at Farpoint, I think that because Data is on the holodeck. No, is Data on?
Yeah, Data's on the holodeck.
Yeah,
Riker comes to find him. They're in 2 totally different spots. He's climbing up. And all of a sudden, he comes upon Data, which shouldn't be more than 15 feet away from him at best.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, I never understood that. They're on 4 different levels of the ship, but yet they're still confined to this room.
Yeah. I mean, you see the same thing in the episode where the holodeck, once again, glitches when Worf and Alexander are on there, and Data is pretty much the big baddie on there.
Oh, the fistful of Datas.
And there's all this different space. It's like, how is this possible?
He's got Alexander held hostage in a cave somewhere, and then they're in the sheriff's office. Just, I don't get how that works, and it's always confused me. And for someone that likes holodeck episodes, it's something that always got on my nerves about it. And it's just like, I don't get it. At least it made kind of sense in the Voyager episode where the Harajan took over the ship and made it into one giant holodeck.
They said they were breaking down the walls of the holodecks to join them all.
Yes. And so you basically, it made that town, that World War II town, which that makes sense. That actually, you can have stuff like that. The other thing that made me laugh, though, is towards the end when they finally shut down the program, Picard had come on to, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, Picard had come on to the holodeck with that kind of like jacket, like, smoking coat he had on.
And it was thick.
Yeah.
Thick jacket.
And it was something that jacket they introduced in the 5th season, and I never had a problem with it. It was kind of cool looking,
Pretty much the off hours attire.
Yeah. And so he comes on there, and at some point during the show, he switches into a normal uniform, which would be a holographic uniform. And then the whole point of this episode is you cannot take anything off the holodeck. And he clearly at the end walks off the holodeck with this holographic uniform on.
Right.
It doesn't.
And it was not what he went on the holodeck.
He's not standing in the hallway completely butt his thing.
Right, because they do generally pay respect to that in most episodes
Yeah.
when everybody's in their period pieces, like Guinan when she would go in on the Dixon Hill episodes.
But they put that stuff on before they go
Right.
into the holodeck. So it's not
Right.
actually like holographic clothing.
They must have got their outfits from ship stores.
It's the ship stores. That's where
God.
everything is. You need an answer on where to find something? We got
Ship
it in the
stores
ship
will have it.
stores for you. But I had a question.
Mhm.
So when Dr. Moriarty walks off, and this is something I thought about at great length, and it's so fucking stupid that I thought about this at great length. They come off they're shocked that Moriarty gets off the holodeck, right? Immediately Data calls for security, right?
Data does like
And
this thing too where
security, and he
yeah.
calls for security, and they're around the corner really fucking quick, and it made me think, do you think there is a security office on every level?
There might be. I mean, you got to think if the ship's ever gets taken over, they lock down part of the ship.
How quick they were there, it made me feel like every floor has like a security office. Like you see them earlier where they have those rooms that are just like brig rooms, like where they throw them in there and there's like that force field. It's a very small room. And I always thought that was like a security office for that floor that had like maybe 4 or 5 security officers on duty.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? That like each floor would have like an office. So
It's
in case
possible.
something, quick response.
I want to get one of those really large Enterprise D, like deck by deck.
You know what we need
everything is.
What we do need to do, we need to get one of those, and we need to do an episode on the blueprint of the Enterprise.
Like where we are in this part of the episode.
No, just for the simple question is are we supposed to believe that
one.
You already know where I'm going with this. The sick bay, there's only one fucking sick bay on that entire ship.
Well, I mean, there's only supposed to be one bathroom, I believe, as well.
Technically there's a bathroom on the bridge, right?
Yeah, the door that's off to the right. To the
left. There's if you're
looking at the camera, it's this way, but if you're looking at the view screen, it's onto the right.
Yes, if you watch carefully in this episode, you see that.
You see the door.
You see that door. Yeah. And it's in everything. And when you look at like an Enterprise D blueprint, it clearly states it is the laboratory for the bridge.
Which door takes you to the battle bridge?
No, that's on a totally different. You have to actually go down into the drive section to get to the bed. Getting back to it, let's start some of the good.
Number one good for me, the less Crusher, the better. And I'm pretty sure she's only in one scene in this.
She is,
maybe 2 scenes. No,
she's in one scene. She's in that scene
in the observation lounge.
She has one speaking scene, and that's when they're on the observation deck. And she just goes, it's so romantic, but I wouldn't try doing anything about it until we know what we're doing. And
Beverly, we all know you find ghosts romantic. Get out of here.
This is right up her alley. Yeah, no, she's got one scene, and I agree with you. I mean, I can tell you right now, I hate her acting. I think she's terrible at acting. I didn't like her when she came back for Picard either. I wasn't here or there, but the less Crushers we get in an episode, the better, in my opinion.
Which that may not be a popular opinion out there for all the younger ladies, because they love them some Wesley.
I don't know how that's possible.
I have a friend that's just absolutely infatuated with Wesley Crusher. I'm like, what?
I don't get that. That's actually creepy because he's like 14 in the show.
Well, they were 14 at the time too. So.
I know, I get it.
But no, good. My favorite scene in this whole episode is Picard and Moriarty in 10 Forward. The passion that Moriarty gives and the plea that Picard gives. It's a good give and take.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, you really get to see Daniel Davis's acting chops in this scene. He goes through the whole gambit of emotion, from angry to sad, excited. The one thing I didn't like is he knows all about the computer. Like, he takes control of the computer so easily. And then once he gets off the holodeck, he's like this whimsical child. He's like, can we go up on the deck of your ship, weather permitting? Well, good and well by this point that it's not.
You should have the schematics already downloaded.
Yeah, this is
tied
a starship.
to the database.
Yeah, this is a starship. But that scene, though, is fantastic. He goes from one spectrum to the other when it comes to emotions. It is just so good.
One thing I really liked about this episode is we have some technology that's used in later Star Trek movies, such as Insurrection. You have the transport inhibitors. In this episode, we're trying to increase the transporter field strength to create the chair onto transporter pad, whereas in the movie they're using it to block the transporter little ships from getting the alien race to be
where they got those little I know the little probe things that they shoot them with, and it makes them transport.
That's my two favorites of this episode.
My favorite, I have a bunch of favorite scenes, but the one I really like is the very last scene where they're talking about portable holodeck, which they say, yes, but really no. It's just, it's not really a holodeck. It's just they're living in this circuitry, and it's okay. But I really like that scene. And Picard has that line is, who knows? We might just be listening. We might just be existing in a little box sitting on somebody's desk too.
Yeah.
And I've put that video up of that last scene on TikTok, and somebody made the comment. He goes, what would have made that scene so much better is at the end when they all leave and Barclay's just standing there. He looks and just does computer and program. And then nothing happened. And the episode ends.
All right.
That would have been cool. I absolutely agree with that. That would have been the coolest way to end this episode. But absolutely fantastic episode, really from start to finish.
Yeah, so, nothing really else bad to say about it. Good, just again the acting overall for the guest stars, especially.
Oh, guest stars, probably one of the best of the series, I would say. For the guest stars, that every guest star was fantastic in this episode.
Yeah, so, I would really have liked to see Moriarty go against Q. If you had Moriarty with powers, let him go against Q. That would have been quite the battle.
That would have been good. Just wit-wise, Moriarty is shown to be very smart. Like Geordi said, he's brilliant in any century. So that would have been a cool idea. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Here's a hypothesis for you.
Okay.
So if Moriarty, the holodeck character, could affect the real life Enterprise, what happens when Moriarty, the self-aware holodeck character, encounters the Borg in that holodeck program? Could holodeck Borg assimilate from within inside that program?
I don't think so. I think it's a program. I mean, it's like, who knows if they've even programmed the Borg into that whole equation. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a straightforward, we're not going to do anything that's going to cause them issues while they're in there. They're just going to travel from planet to planet, explore, learn all there is to learn. And I always took it as that's all it was going to be. It was going to be a way for them to explore the galaxy. And I don't think they would have programmed like, oh, let's put it in that if they go this way, they're going to get jumped by 4 Klingon birds of prey and destroyed. I don't think they'll have any issue in there where they could be destroyed or killed. It's just a way to keep them happy because there's no way they're ever going to figure out until the mobile emitter comes around how to fucking get these people off a holodeck.
Are we to believe that Picard's fish did not survive the Enterprise saucer section crash, but this box with Professor Moriarty did have to somehow survive in order for him to be...
I feel like they sent that box to the Daystrom Institute before all that. I think they did real quick. They were like, here, try to figure out what the fuck is going on with this hologram.
It's going to make me watch Voyager episodes even closer now.
Yeah.
To see if somewhere in the background of Barclay's things that box is sitting somewhere as a set piece.
I want to do that because what if you see it sitting there? That would be fucking amazing.
I mean, somebody had the forethought of saying, or the
hey,
foresight to say,
shouldn't we show this guy having this box that that Captain Picard told him to hang on to?
Right.
You know, and the other thing about the fish too is, that fish tank was gone before that happened, right?
Really?
Remember on what's the episode? Fuck. Where Picard gets taken captive by the Cardassians and Jellicoe takes over command of Enterprise. He has a move that not only does he put Troy in a uniform, he has him take that. He goes, get rid of this fish or whatever.
You're
Remember?
right.
So, and then after that, there was the fish were always gone, and Troy was always in a uniform after that.
There were 3 lights, 4 lights, 4 lights.
5 lights.
5
There's
lights.
4 lights, though.
There's 4 lights.
Yeah.
So that's going to wrap up our thoughts of the episode's specific things. Now we're going to go ahead and give our overall rating of the episode of a 1 through 5. Bob, I'm going to let you go first.
I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Okay.
I'm reserving that 5 for the best of the best. And this, as good as this one was, that it's just, I can't put it at 5.
I will go strong 4. Maybe not 4.5 because of the small nitpick things that I took out of it.
Yeah.
It's too easy to fix things like that. But overall,
4 still really, yeah.
4 strong.
Yeah. It's still a very good episode.
Your guest stars definitely carried the episode here.
Oh, yeah. And I think that was the point of it. I mean, you knew it was going to be a guest star heavy episode, so you had to have strong acting.
Probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest, holodeck episode next to some of the stuff we get from DS9. Like, I really like DS9.
Oh, yeah. Towards the end of the run,
suites.
towards the end of DS9, they get some really good. What was it? The one with what's his name? Nick, Vic. Yeah, Vic. That's it. I gotta start rewatching DS9 again. I can't. It's been a long time.
Hey, I think my favorite holodeck episode is the one with the Hirogen.
Where they turn it into a whole big like hunting ground, and it's like the World War II, and they play the Nazis.
That one was really good.
Okay, let's see here.
All right.
We want to do the randomizer?
Let's do our randomizer to talk about our next episode that we're going to discuss. And guys, as you saw, we went back to the format of just talking about high and low points of the episodes. We realize we talk a lot and you don't want to hear us talk for an hour. So we're giving you shortened content to allow you to enjoy every bit of it. And Bob, is today not a special day for you as well?
Oh, yes.
At the time we were recording, Bob is having a birthday today.
Yep, it is my 42nd birthday today. 42 years young.
On your 42nd birthday, you can celebrate the re-application and resurface of TikTok since it was gone for about 12 hours.
That's true. It was gone for about 12 hours. And about 10 o'clock last night, my time. And then about... I don't know, probably about noonish. It came back on. I'm trying to find the randomizer. It's been a minute since. Here we go. I found it. So, Vernon, you know the drill. I'm going to start clicking, clickety click.
Yep.
And you are going to give me a stopping point, and we're going to see what episode this lands on. So,
all right, let's rock and roll.
I'll tell you when I start. Ready, set, clicking, click,
stop.
Okay, we got a DS9 episode.
Hey,
it's gonna be our second DS9 episode. It is season 6, episode 1, A Time to Stand. Well, let's get an idea what this one's about. Let's see. The little synopsis is: with the Dominion on track to winning the war against the Federation, Cisco and his crew take and capture Jemadar ship into enemy territory with a mission to cut off the Jemadar supply of that Catricial
This is where they got the R zone. If you remember the little R zone video game things.
Yes,
is actually what eyepiece for the kid on lower decks.
That's right. Yes, this isn't a bad episode if I remember correctly. I think
so they can see the Hirogen if they're cloaked.
Yes, that is. I forgot about that. This is a pretty decent episode, if I remember correctly. I'm going to enjoy rewatching this one.
Yeah, these war episodes they have on Deep Space Nine are no jokes. So this is where you start to get into the real good Cisco.
Yes, absolutely.
You see his military style.
This is where he starts to get a little, as people on TikTok say, a little war crimey with some of his decisions on what he does.
Yep, I'm gonna enjoy it because any later DS9 episode is obviously going to be more enjoyable than the early ones.
Oh yeah, for sure. When they start following a consistent story, it gets really good. So like seasons 5 through 7, like any of the shows, 4 through 7 are their strongest that season. So this is going to be a good one.
Have we lost Jadzia at this point?
No. Jetsia's through.
This is right about the time where she dies, though.
It's not far off, but I think she's still, because I want to say this is, what was it? It was episode 1 of season 6. So she's through most of season 6, and I want to say she dies at the end of that season.
This actually kicks off their wedding.
Oh, that's right, because they're
episodes.
not married. They're not married very long before she dies, which is
because their next step is the wedding feast. So
yes,
but we'll talk more about that next time.
Yep,
guys. Thank you so much. We don't know what we've done right, but you guys seem to be jumping on board, watching the content. Bob, the numbers are astounding, and I'm completely humbled. Again, we don't know if it's people think this is the Star Trek network from official things, or if they actually do like our content.
It's surely not official to any Paramount Star Trek.
I mean, look at our
official. Yeah, that's not something they would officially acknowledge.
Well, we don't want
that thing right. Where is it? There
we don't want people, subbing up because they think that's what it is. But I don't think that's the case.
No,
people are watching our stuff. They know what our stuff's about. So
we've put enough our faces up there in the shorts that they know we're not anything associated with Star Trek. We're just a couple of guys that love Star Trek, and we want to share our love with everybody else.
And we want you to share your love with us. We have the random video finder for us, but we want you to tell us in the comments what your favorite episode is, what your worst episode, least like episode. Which episode do you want us to rip apart for you? Because we will do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Would it
we
always
stand for everybody? So
your suggestion always takes precedence over a random episode. So just leave a comment down below, and we'll definitely take a watch of your episode that you want.
And we do have our Discord. Bob, where can you find us on Discord?
I changed it, so it'll be in the description below. By the time this episode comes out, I'll have the updated Discord ready to go.
Which means that everybody that joins our Discord, by the time that we have a date that we can do this, we are going to be doing, we promised when we got to 100 subscribers, which now we're at like what, 8,
almost 1,000.
Yeah,
we're 25 away from 1,000, so,
which is huge.
This kind of snuck up on us this past week, so
we'll have to do a movie also just for getting us high. But
I'm thinking we might switch it up to doing a watch along with a movie instead of just an episode, because you guys have taken that road to 100 and basically pushed it to 1,000. So
10 times. So we'll get a movie out of it too.
Yeah,
but we are men of our word, and we will be getting a Discord live watch along. Where you'll basically getting our commentary feedback live, and you can shout out in the comments, talk to us, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Tuvix.
No.
We did it to ourselves there, but
I know we did it.
All right. Well, for now, guys, thank you so much. Bob, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We usually sign off every episode by saying everybody have a great day, but I'm going to say for this one, computer in program.